Teaching is an art, if you like, and the most successful teachers have a toolkit of different strategies and methods, and they use those in a mix, in a creative and an innovative way. So how do inspectors judge lessons then? There are a lot of myths surrounding inspection, that we don't want to see innovation and creativity, for example, or that we have a specific perfect lesson in mind when we go to see something, and if the lesson doesn't match up with that checklist that we have, then woe betide the teacher. Those are myths, they're not true. Inspectors do not have a predetermined view of what good teaching looks like. There isn't a checklist. Instead, we judge a lesson on outcomes, on the ends achieved, on the quality of the learning we see taking place, on the impact on the development of pupils' skills, knowledge and understanding. We focus on the quality of pupils' thinking, on their understanding of new ideas and concepts, on the extent of purposeful activity in the classroom, the discussion, the quality of the discussion going on, whatever the approach the teacher takes. The most effective teachers, as we know, are enthusiastic. They treat pupils with respect, they're sensitive to their needs, and they somehow got the knack of understanding what makes particular pupils tick. They are confident, they convey that confidence in their kind of body language, they communicate it in a subtle way. They can control the behavior of their pupils in these kind of subtle, non-demonstrative manners. And of course, one of the key characteristics of effective teachers is high expectations of what each pupil can do and achieve. Empathy, enthusiasm, encouragement, all these things help to establish the positive learning environment which is necessary but not sufficient condition for effective learning. Teachers know also that their success depends on detailed preparation and planning. Thoughtful and creative planning depends on teachers understanding their class, knowing what their pupils are capable of. They successfully plan if they look at the lessons and classrooms very, very carefully, plan meticulously. And the best teachers think deeply about how to engage pupils, how to engage their interest. They vary their approaches and they use a range of different and imaginative methods. The other area that schools have devoted considerable attention to recently, of course, is basic literacy and numeracy. And as I said, I think there is evidence that these basics are improving. However, there's still work to be done. Technical accuracy in writing, and in particular, pupils' ability to carry out simple calculations involving division, percentages, and ratios. Those are still areas that need attention in many of our schools. But it's also important that schools now don't narrow the range of opportunities that they offer pupils when planning their curriculum, that they don't over-concentrate on literacy and numeracy. A good example is the creative arts. We have seen evidence of the creative arts not being given enough attention in schools because of an overemphasis and time being spent on literacy and numeracy. And actually, creative arts, there's a lot of evidence that disadvantaged pupils are enthused and engaged by the creative arts. And of course, in the long term, that engagement will mean that they improve their literacy and numeracy. In secondary schools, I think there is more work to be done on using ICT across the curriculum. It's less developed. Pupils generally don't apply skills which they have been taught and they've learnt in discrete ICT lessons in other subjects. And another issue about ICT is that it's ideal for more able and talented pupils. The potential of ICT to engage these pupils is great. The very areas of ICT which are underdeveloped are the ones that would help to stretch the more able, creating and interrogating databases, using spreadsheets to model real-life situations, looking at the effects of changing variables. The most effective assessment is continuous, where teachers look at the progress that the pupils are doing in the lessons and give immediate verbal feedback to the pupils. I think there is a danger of almost head teachers thinking the volume of assessment teachers do is the measure of how hard a teacher works. It's the quality of the assessment that's more important than the volume. I said at the beginning that teaching is an art. I also think it's a science in the sense that it should be evidence-based. And I know you've spent a lot of today talking about research and what research can help us understand about teaching. And I think the best teachers have that curiosity about their profession. They enjoy their work, they're critical thinkers, they read widely about teaching and learning. They discuss their successes and their failures with their colleagues, with other teachers in their own school and in other schools. And they're motivated when they hear about new techniques and new ideas, and they think deeply about how they connect education theory with their own personal classroom practice. But above all, they want to see their pupils enthused about learning. And we all know what teaching can do. We've all got our own personal history, both as learners and as teachers. We've got those little stories about the teachers that inspired us as individuals, that somehow engaged us, that inspired us to have a lifelong interest in poetry or history or mathematics in my case, or music or whatever. So we've got great teachers in Wales. We always have. And those great teachers know what it's like to switch on individual pupils, to see them develop intellectually, academically, but also as rounded individuals that we can be proud of. And they can be proud of themselves as well as teachers because they've contributed to broadening the horizons of those young people and enriching their lives.